Hello, this is Craig, and I want to show you a couple of things you can do in Excel with text. Take a look at this list. It's a list of participants in a PD day, in a training session, and it's a very nice list because it's intended to be printed out so that people can sign in. However, being a persnickety like I am, I would like the names to be last name first, last name, comma, first name. And I would like them to be in alphabetical order because that's what we learned in third grade, is to put things in ABC order. Now I'm going to show you a few functions and features in Excel just to demonstrate this. And really, in real life, this would be maybe, who cares? It doesn't matter really, but just to show you, just to demonstrate a few features, here we go. So first thing, you can select a range of text and go and do sort and filter and sort A to Z to put them in alphabetical order, but of course they're in order by first name. I'm going to copy this range and just paste it over here. So I don't want to disturb the spacing or the borders that's already been formatted for the sign-in sheet. I'm going to just go over to this cell to the right, which is column E, and paste them in. And then by double clicking the cell border here, it auto sizes them. So now there's no run over to the next cell. Now there's a feature called flash fill. Let me show you how it works. If I start typing the last names, okay, notice how in gray it pops up with everybody's last name after that. It has detected a pattern and suggesting that it can fill in the rest of the column. So I'm going to hit enter to accept this suggestion. This is the feature called flash fill, and it works if you had a list of 1,000 names. Now there are all kinds of formulas in Excel for strings of text, cutting up strings of text, selecting different pieces of text, but flash fill is the easiest way to do this, in my opinion. Let's do that again with first names. So I'm going to start typing first names. Now, on the third row, it detects the pattern. I hit enter and it fills them in. Okay, now how do we put these? Now I could use this. I could just take these two columns over and put them in there, but we want to get a little fancier than that, just to show another thing. In Excel, there's a text function called concatenate that takes different strings of text and puts them together. And I'm going to choose this button right here, the insert function button, and find concatenate. Even though I know how it works, it's hard to spell. So here we go. So I'm going to choose, it says select a category. It's in the text category. And right here is concatenate. Joins several text strings into one text string. Now I'm going to click OK. And this is one really nice thing about Excel, especially for beginners. There's so many functions, it's hard to get familiar with all of them. This walks you through creating. So what's going to be the first piece of text? It's their last name. I'm just going to click that cell and it fills in for me, F5. Now what's going to be the next piece of text? I don't want the first name to follow without anything in between. I'm going to put a quotation mark, a comma, and a space, and another quotation mark. And this is the string that's going to fall between the last name and the first name. And then text 3, I am going to click the first name. And before I do that, I just want to point out these buttons. Sometimes this dialog box covers up the cells that you want to click. So you can click this button to minimize the function argument dialog box And then that lets you click the text. So I'm going to just minimize this. Notice it becomes just this one row here, this one little box right here. And I'm going to click the first name and then come back to here. And it has filled it in. And it shows me the result. That's how I want it to look. So I'm going to click OK. And it has written the formula or function right here in the formula bar. So I'm going to click OK. Boom. Now I'm going to double click this divider here to autofill just so it looks nice. And I mean auto size. And then I'm going to drag down like this and hit Control D to fill down. Control D to fill down. Now there's a button for this somewhere. I've just used Control D to fill down and Control R to fill to the right when you're doing rows instead of columns. Now that's how I want it to appear. What happens if I copy this and come over here and paste it in? It's going to fail. Why? I'm going to hit undo. The reason is that it copies the formula. It copies this concatenate formula into these cells. So what do we do instead? Here's what we do. It's easy when you know how. We're going to copy that. We're going to come over here, and then we're going to paste special. We just want to paste the values. And now my list is almost the way I want it. We have last name, comma, space, first name. And when I go over and choose sort A to Z, we are right where we want to be. At this point, I can come over here and just drag across this area and tap the delete key to clean up my work. Oh, I still got some boxes, but that won't matter because this dotted line indicates the print area. However, if that does bother you, one thing that you could do is just click on an unformatted cell and choose the format painter to copy the format from this unformatted cell. And you can quickly drag it across all those cells to remove any formatting. So that's just a shortcut for removing formatting. So remember, I'm using a pretty short list. These tips would work on even a very long list. Those are some of the functions and shortcuts and tips for Excel using text lists. Thanks for listening.